Lagos template. We're going to replicate what we did in Lagos and what happened in Borno State. And in all of that, you ask yourself, what exactly were they saying? Nothing. All stories of what we've done. And you look back at the country and say, oh, with all of the
pages 2 and 6 of the Guardian newspaper. Moving on now, we also that's a deep one. And more details on page 19 of the Punch. Everybody's
and that's the problem with states. What value would they even bring to the states? I remembered, a Taraba state at the time I served there that had that had no proper road. If you really wanted to look at the entire state, probably if you look at the roads in Jalingo and maybe one or two local governments, but the entire state didn't have any good road. And at that time, you had a governor in Jolly Yame who was building an airport for them.
Was building an airport for
a state that had no road, practically.
Okay. So that's an interesting way to set your priorities.
So some of these states, you sometimes just look at some of the projects they go into and you wonder, what's the intention? What are they going to achieve with those projects? Now they can't pay a contractor for trying to build an airport in Oshu State to achieve what precisely? Where there's a whole lot that should have been done, maybe in the agricultural sector, in also ensuring rural roads and some other things in the state.
Is it not the same Oshu State that in a few months will be handing over part to a new administration?
And there's a lot of worry about the current spending pattern of the government. The
outgoing one.
The governor-elect is shouting and saying, hey, don't mortgage the state, doesn't get it, and it starts to set up booby traps for the incoming governor. So we hope that Oyetola will be responsible. You understand that the interest of the state should be paramount rather than personal interest, so that it doesn't just run the state into trouble.
All right, then let's keep moving. We more details. Lagos orders probe police arrest engineer, and that's on page 5 of the Punch newspaper. And we also have here Olu and the like
chiefs and all of those.
Yes, and supporters of one person and supporters of another person.
And that's what you get again when politicians.
Yes, I was going to put that against politics.
When we have their hands in it. The traditional process is so simple, straightforward, and seamless. But when politics come into it, they model it up, and you have situations like this.
There's a tradition. Why not just go through and follow
the
that?
Politicians just want to have their hands in everything.
All right. Okay, so more details on page 9 of the Punch newspaper, and still on the Punch, just by the masthead, reps summon TCN over $33 million payment to Genco. That's on page 20 of the Punch newspaper. All right, now above the masthead of the Punch, we have lawyer sues Buhari, others over NDDC management. Okay. We're having very interesting headlines
even the TCN story. I was going to make the comment that when it comes to payments and all of this, I think we need to begin to probe the office of the Accountant General of the Federation. We need to begin to ask questions. Who is even managing the financial?
Which of the account? Okay.
I think we have an interim one.
So and we should just probe the office and not the person.
Because again, we have too many changes in a few. So three in just like a few 2 months, so it may be difficult to hold somebody responsible. We have one who is still in a plea bargain situation with the government, which a lot of people are still questioning anyways. How do you suddenly just want to go into a plea bargain? And when he goes into plea bargain, what's the intention? What do we get as a country from it? Are we able to retrieve everything from him, or should the plea bargain be an option again? Should it be an option where we are actually looking at punishing people and setting what you call a deterrence from such activities, from such acts? So,
well, as it is now, what I'm getting from this report is that the House of Representatives failure to answer critical questions concerning an agreement with a power generation company, Azura Power West Africa Limited.
Genco, yeah.
Yes, and this agreement that the TCN had with the Genco is forcing Nigeria to pay Azura $33 million monthly, whether it supplies power
or not. So what kind of you see? The thing is this,
who entered into this agreement? And
you see, I don't know. Even as journalists, Sandra, we've tried to look through the entire operations of the power sector, from the Genco to the TISCO, TCN, then to the DISCOs, and in all of it, you have a web of complete confusion. You know, when you try to unbundle the process and understand the workings, what you get is that you are caught in the.
We have a lot, like, you know, we have a lot of power stations.
Yeah.
We have Egbin
power station, Egbin, yes.
Okay, Egbin power station. We have Transcorp 1,320, and then you have Transcorp giving 650 megawatts, and you know, with also, and we did not sign a take or pay with an agreement with these two
that are even doing enough. So why have an agreement
so special with Azura
and to even have that kind of arrangement where you generate or not, you will pay this amount of money. So that's why I said if you look at the entire structure,
is $33 million every month.
So those are some of the things we've been talking about, and we'll continue to talk about. The power sector that was why I was talking about the NBA conference. I would have thought that, for example, the conference should have limited the speech to specifics. You guys are going to just come and talk to us. What are your plans for the power sector? That's it alone.
Well, Obi gave some specific, gave some numbers,
like
1.8 million barrels.
This is statistics and the sloganeering and all of those things. I'll say this, and I ran this in my head, and I'm going to beg you to give me this little time to say this. I've seen a situation where the three of them, I'm going to exempt Kwankwanso for my own personal reasons.
Okay.
Atiku Abubakar of the PDP, and you have Peter Obi of the Labour Party. There's none of these three candidates that does not have questions to answer when we talk about past performances, integrity in government, and if he was the one that did everything Lagos is today, what did Babaja Konde do?
Because a lot of if you listen to a lot of what
they do that is still regarded as the best ever in Lagos. What did Mobolaji Johnson do? What did even the Buba Marwa as a military administrator do? For every of what Lagos is today to now be seen as the achievement of Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Asiwaju, whether we like it or not, he has questions to answer on Alpha Beta. The commissions on the revenue of Lagos. There are still questions on the management of resources of Lagos. If we count the cost, we need to ask ourselves, why is it that Lagos generates the highest internal revenue, but is still the most indebted state in the country? So there are questions to ask about the management of funds and resources of Lagos. But hey, is the candidate of the APC. We need to probe him. I'm coming. Atiku Abubakar is the candidate of the PDP. His principal wrote a book, and you have the damning report on him in terms of integrity, the management of funds, and the privatization of things. You have a Peter Obi, for example, of the Labour Party, who still has questions to ask on the Pandora Papers. There are still questions also on the fact that he invested state funds in a private business. So
it's all right.
In all of these three,
I want
nobody is a saint practically. We
Fuad,
need to just ask them critical questions, because
Fuad,
one of them
Fuad,
will likely become president.
Carry this conversation to the political roundtable.
Okay, but I'm just there to express it.
I am talking trends in the papers, and what we are talking about right now is the fact that 3 people sat down and had an agreement with Azura, and those 3 people have now committed the entire country.
And that's why I'm saying that, are we asking the frontline candidates questions? Have they studied the problem in the power sector, for example?
All right,
do they have a complete understanding of what they are going into?
Of the power sector.
Right. That's just the question.
As regarding
these crazy kinds of arrangement that we have.
Story that we have here.
Are they following these things?
Well, more details on page 20 of the Punch newspaper. I also read earlier, lawyers sues Buhari and others over NDDC management.
NDDC is a big problem too.
That's on page 8 of the Punch. Then we also have oil firms owe banks 5 trillion naira amid losses and theft. We're still on this matter, and God will help us. More details on page 20. And what I mean we're still on this matter is, the theft, oil theft, and vandalism and whatnot. So apparently, oil firms, due to those factors, oil firms are owing banks 5 trillion naira.
Another problem that we're not talking about,
we are talking about it. We talk about it every day.
We are not asking these candidates. Nobody's asking
them. We'll ask them. Maybe everybody's waiting for campaign. Maybe everybody's waiting for the debate. I don't know, man. I just that's more details on page 20 of the Punch. ASU NEC decides on strike on Sunday. NEC, sorry. And more details on page 10. So we'll know the fate of our students by Sunday. More details on page 10. And finally, from the Punch newspaper, NNPC eyes 422 billion naira from 6 IOCs in August.
It's good to hire. What happens if you hire and you get it? The management of the fund is critical.
I think that's major problem that we have in Nigeria, don't you think? Because we make money, but
what eventually happens? How do we manage those funds?
All right, more details of that on page 19 of the Punch newspaper. Let's keep moving now. On the Nation newspaper, you're listening to Trends in the Paper. All right, so the Nation newspaper, the major headline: Tinubu, Atiku, Obi roll out plans on economy, security. I don't know the plans that were rolled out, but I don't know.
We all listen and
no. Well, maybe the Nation has a scoop that we don't have. I don't know, but let's go through their
report. Go through their report and see whether you're going to have any takeaways, any major takeaways from what was said at the conference.
Riders to that: Shetima, APC standard bearer, and I will replicate our Lagos Borno feat.
You see the problem?
That's the plan that was rolled out.
Okay.
Nigeria's unity, power devolution, non-negotiable. That's coming from the PDP candidate. Labour Party flag bearer promises to transform Nigeria to a productive economy.
Good. So how?
I think this... Okay, first, I want to put this out there.
All right.
These statements are not new. This is what they have been saying over time.
These are general statements I will keep hearing.
This is what Peter Obi has been saying, that he wants to transform Nigeria to a producing economy rather than a consuming economy.
Beautiful statement.
All right.
Generic statement.
It's a wonderful one.
Okay.
And Nigeria's unity. I know Atiku has been talking about unity.
And then for him to be even talking about devolution of power.
Okay, now he has added devolution of power.
Which is something we have always talked about. Devolution of power, restructuring, and all of that. Yeah.
APC's, I won't say this is coming directly from the APC candidate, but I'm asking
at least somebody who represented
his supporters, have always been clamoring and
about
saying,
the Lagos model.
Oh, look at what he did in Lagos. Oh, look at what he did in Lagos. Okay, but Nigeria is bigger.
Interestingly, I'm a Lagosian. And I can question I can actually question some of those things.
Okay.
If you count the cost, place what Lagos earns, the revenue generated in Lagos, put it side by side with what we have on ground. We live in Lagos. We understand some of these things. If you count the cost, are you going to say, well, we really want to follow the Lagos model? Go around Lagos and really say, well, is the Lagos model really a model to really follow? I always say this: Lagos is a mega city because of the population. Is it a functional mega city? I'll say, hey, no.
It's all right. Thank you very much. I think this is a valid question that we should ask if you are talking about following the Lagos model, especially those who live in Lagos. Would you say that this is a model that the country, with other... It's a valid question, but then also we've talked about Atiku's statement as regards power devolution, and I think we've also talked about the Labour Party flag bearer, who seems to be very...
Atiku, who couldn't even tweet when Deborah was stoned to death in Sokoto, who had to delete a tweet. So we said no, the tweet didn't come from him, and somebody talking about devolution of power.
Speaking of that, henceforth, since that tweet, that we should always look out for AA after his tweets.
That's a joke. What's the big deal?
I've not been seeing.
No, there's exactly. Okay, so what?
Examine.
Okay, when he deleted the initial tweet, he did tweet again on that issue.
It would have been, but he sent a message in Hausa, or I don't know if it was Hausa or Fulani.
No, we needed to know what his opinion was on the stoning to death of a Nigerian on allegations of blasphemy.
He said something, but Asiwaju did not say anything at all.
Well, I'm still talking about Atiku now. We've said Asiwaju didn't say anything. So on record, he did not say anything. So that's on record, But we needed to know what Atiku's opinion was, because at least he was the one that did something, deleted it, and he didn't say anything again. And was telling us to watch out for AA.
I'm just trying to ensure that we do not focus on his statement and then deleting of his statement when someone out there did not
Sandra,
even say
conclusion
anything.
for me on this story
is all right.
We are not asking these people
the right
questions.
More details on page 28 of the Nation newspaper. No work, no pay rule. NLC backs ASU on salary arrears. Pay lecturers to end strike. Labour urges government. Okay, so NLC has come in and they're saying it is unfair for the federal government to invoke a no work, no pay rule on university teachers who were not architects of the lingering strike. So
that's the argument, but I think the government would have to find a way to to pay, find a way to pay. It might be staggered payments, because to pay the lump sum may be very difficult.
Maybe that's what they're avoiding.
But they have to find a way to pay, maybe some form of staggered payment
All
along
right.
the line. Yeah.
Okay, then we also have here BOI, Bank of Industry, Nexim, Nigeria Exports Imports Bank, have committed 101.06 billion naira to development finance interventions in the real sector. That's a statement coming from the CBN. So they are looking into the real sector, and they're hoping that these funds are meant to drive job creation, economic recovery, and household welfare. And that's coming from the half-year economic report 2021 of the CBN. All right, so if you break it down now, BOI is disbursing 77 billion naira to the industrial sector,
yeah.
while Nexim will release 24.06 billion for projects. You can get more details on page 4 of the Nation newspaper. 2 die, others injured in Lagos building collapse.
Again.
That's on page 6. Buildings are collapsing in Lagos.
Yeah, you have a city where there's a lot of regeneration going on. You have a situation where developers are scrambling with little available land spaces in developed parts of the state and putting up a lot of buildings. If you go to traditional parts of Lagos like Ebutemeta, Yaba, you have a lot of buildings going up, demolishing the old structures, raising them up. But I think the government needs to do more really with enforcement. There are a lot of agencies monitoring these things, but it still beats you why structures still keep happening. You have LABSCA, which is Lagos State Building Control Agency. You have the Lagos State Material Testing Laboratory. You have the Lagos State Physical Planning.
You have all these agencies, and we still have this so you still have problem.
This, because if you start a building in Lagos, I'm sure nothing less than 6 or 7 agencies will visit you for oversight function, and this thing still happening. So you ask yourself, where is that missing link?
the NBA summit that's currently ongoing, but kick-started yesterday. And it was quite an interesting one. Chimamanda Adichie was there as the keynote speaker, and she made a whole lot of statements. And there's one thing that we took away from that is the fact that at this time, Nigeria is in desperate need for heroes, leaders to look up to, for that change that we also desire. And she also lamented that yes, Nigerians do not seem to have enough leaders to look up to in this current system, and that young citizens were finding it difficult to have heroes for mentorship. Okay, but what we're going to be focusing on this morning is majorly the statements that we got from the three major presidential candidates. Okay, we have Alhaji Atiku Abubakar of the PDP, People's Democratic Party. We also had Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who was represented ably by his vice presidential candidate, his running mate, Kashim Shettima. And then we also had Peter Obi of the Labour Party. And they had quite interesting takes on the economic... Sorry about that. They had quite interesting takes on the economic and insecurity sectors. The economy and insecurity sectors, two of the most critical problems confronting the country today. And they said quite a lot. And, the theme for the conference is both transitions, but the theme for this particular session is democratic transitions in 21st century Nigeria, 2023 and beyond, which was why they had to have in attendance presidential aspirants of different parties. So now Shettima ticket is leveraging on performances of Lagos and Borno State. And Shettima said that Shettima himself will be using his 8-year experience tackling Boko Haram in Borno to deal with banditry and insurgency, while his principal will deploy his mastery of financial management capabilities in revamping the economy. That's APC's own plan. Leverage. That's what they are using. Or that's what they said yesterday. That's what Shettima said. Yes, he's urging Nigerians to consider the strength of Tinubu's presidency as exemplified, by his performance as Lagos governor and his skill set, which is mastery of financial management capabilities for the economy. And he, as the former governor of Borno State, is going to come in with his 8-year experience of tackling Boko Haram, to use it to deal with banditry and insurgency in Nigeria as a whole. That's one. Now, we also had statements from Atiku. Okay, and it was quite an interesting one. And Atiku came in with the fact that he observed that the country is more disunited today than it had ever been since democracy took root in 1999. And he is coming with the fact that today what they need to look at now is involving creating an enabling environment for foreign and local investors. And he's saying that the reforms, he explained, would include healthcare and education, because the government alone cannot bring about, development. So one of the fundamental reforms that he has in his policy document is to encourage the private sector as far as the development of the country is concerned. He's a
privatization man, so understand.
Yes, is to develop the... Well, he just is to encourage the private sector. That's what he mentioned. And another thing that he also said is referencing the country's challenges and whatnot. He also identified 5 key areas. Let me give that out now. There are 5 key areas that any leadership, forget the party, any leadership should look at. The unity of the country is fundamental. And he also said the issue of economy and security. And he said they need to have a consensus, as regards that. I'm trying to, point the 5 points, get the 5 points out. Okay, yes. Now, the devolution, where we are going to. Yes, that's where, I know that's where Fuad is going to.
Devolution of power.
The devolution of power. That is where I'm just going to bring out, because he has 5, actually. The 5 points are all inculcated in unity, security, economy, to the devolution of power.
For me, all still general statements.
The 5 points that he's working with all comes down to, from unity to security, comes down to the devolution of power.
All right, no problem.
That's where Atiku is coming from.
We have that
in his own. So we have that
settled.
And now then we have Peter Obi. Peter Obi, the Labour Party, presidential candidate, said the election will not be about tribe, religion, connection, entitlement, but it must be about competence, capacity, and commitment to deliver.
Beautiful.
And as it is now, we're among, he's saying, let me quote him now, that we're among the top terrorized countries in the world, and he's calling on Nigerians to elect a candidate with the capacity to rescue the nation from its current mess.
Still a general statement, so what are the specifics?
So he's saying the coming election is not about tribe or religion, but about character and competence. So we need to hold a transition from a highly insecure state to a highly secured state.
Still a general statement, so
still
what are the specifics here?
I know, I'm coming, just hold. So where he's coming now, he's restating consumption to production promise.
Still a general statement, so what are
as
the
regards economy.
How do you achieve
so
that?
So he talked about security, we've talked about that, and then now coming to economy, he's saying that even in Nigeria, according to him, 80% of the country's crude is stolen.
We all know that. We read that every day.
Okay. So, and he's saying that he's kept giving figures and figures and figures and figures.
So
to come out of this, we need a visionary, articulated, and competent leader to start turning things around, and that's by turning the economy to a producing economy.
All right.
So we have statements from Peter Obi, and his own majorly is that the fact that as regards insecurity, he's saying that there's a need for a highly insecure state, for us to transit Nigeria from a highly insecure state
to a secure state
to a highly secured state. Yeah. And also we need to move from being from a consuming economy to a producing economy. So we have these three different parties
ideas.
And their statements from these different aspirants. Okay. Now, my question to you and our listeners, as I open up the phone line, is: are you satisfied with what you have heard this morning? Are you satisfied with what you have heard?
The takeaways,
Yes, from these people. Did you take anything that you can hold on to as something that you can say, okay, this person is going to do this and make a change for me in this country, come 2023?
Well, I still would say that we are not asking specific questions, and
so you still think that they're not hitting the nail.
Sandra, I think I've listened. I've at least participated in how many presidential elections now in the country, and on all. Not all.
All.
I know you are bad.
All. What is all?
A young man, and these are statements we hear every 4 years. We keep, it's just like recycling statements. We'll talk about all of these things, and so that we allow our listeners to be part of the show. Let me just say this in just 1 minute. The Lagos model and the Borno model that Shetima was talking about still has a lot of questions. People will still have to debate the functionality of Lagos as a mega city beyond the fact that the population is just there. People are still going to check the books of Lagos if we're going to count the cost to see whether it matches with what we have on ground in terms of infrastructure and development. So that is one question that Shetima needs to answer. So for me, it's still a general statement. There are no specifics to hold on to for Shetima. Now for Atiku, we know he's a privatization man. He has
devolution
of power. One question I would have loved to ask him is to say, does he believe in resource control, for example, which is a major part of devolution of power? Because what resource control does is that it makes the center weak and gives more power to the state. So not in terms of structure like police and even education alone. Does Atiku believe in resource control, where the states are allowed to control their own resources, and then we weaken the center and make it unattractive, and then give more power to the state? Okay. That's part of devolution of power. Those are questions we should ask somebody like Atiku Abubakar. So, and even his belief on religious tolerance, there are things unity of the country, because he talked about that. So if he
it's a major thing for him,
he couldn't ordinarily keep a tweet that condemned the stoning to death of a Nigerian on a flimsy allegation of blasphemy, and he had to delete that. We need to question his thinking and philosophy
as regards the unity
when it comes
of the
to
country.
religious tolerance. So that's another
right.
thing. Therefore, Peter Obi, who has continued to talk about a producing economy and all of that, we understand what it takes to go into a producing economy. What exactly do we want to produce? What sectors are we looking at? What is the plan? The power sector, infrastructure issue, security issue. We need specifics. Yes, we like the fact that it's riding on the sentiments and emotions of people and the failure of the government year in year out. But it cannot disassociate himself from the past government. He has run his state before in the country. We need to question what his performances were. He still has questions hanging around some of his decisions, even at a governor of the state. There are people who said for 8 years as governor he never conducted a local government election. We need to know why that was, if he really believed in grassroots politics and development from the grassroots. So a lot of questions are from this, but what I'm saying is this: going forward, when the campaigns open, we should be able to ask specific questions and get specific answers before we make a decision in 2023 on all these candidates.
Okay, there you have it, and the phone line will be open very soon. Okay, and just keep it clean. You do not have to say, "Oh, this person said that my candidate." That's not the thing. Now we're talking about the health and well-being, the state of the nation of this country, Nigeria. All right. So the Tinubu Shetima camp is coming with the fact that Tinubu has a mastery of financial management capabilities, and so that will be used in revamping the economy. And Shetima is saying that he will use his 8-year experience tackling Boko Haram in Borno to deal with banditry and insurgency, because according to him, the strength of the country's armed forces is abysmal and relative to its challenges and compared to its peer countries. All right, he said a lot, but that's what we're bringing out now. All right, and when we go to Atiku emphasized his belief in restructuring via power devolution. He said that more resources, more power to the states. And he's saying on how to stabilize the economy, they are talking about the multiple exchange rates must be abolished. He also mentioned that. What are your thoughts as regards Atiku's statement on that one? And as regards insecurity, he's saying that as it is now, Nigeria is more disunited today, so they need to look into unifying the nation and coming as one. Okay, that is his own as regards security and economy. Then Peter Obi is coming with his emphasizing on the consumption to production economy strategy, that Nigeria must move from being a consuming economy to being a producing economy. And as regards insecurity, he said that there's a need for Nigeria to make a bold transition from a highly insecure state to a highly secured state. That's all he said about security, and that the election shouldn't be about tribe or religion, but about competence. Now, if you look at all these statements from these three major stakeholders as regards the presidential elections 2023, what is your own takeaway from all of this? Okay, what is your own takeaway? Do you think that we're not asking you who has the best strategy or who does not have the best strategy? No, we're asking you that from everything that they have said, do you have anything that you can hold on to and say, okay, this my person actually has what it takes to take over the mantle from Muhammadu Buhari come May 29, 2023? 091-36000410 091-36000410. You have just 2 minutes, and let's keep it clean. Hello, good morning.
Morning.
Please turn off your radio. Thank you.
Good morning, Lady Sandra.
Good morning.
Uncle Fuad.
Morning.
Sit Uncle Fuad. All right, we're with you.
Yeah,
your name.
My name is Kazim, calling from Ejigo.
All right,
Kazim from Ejigo.
Yeah, these politicians, these candidates, they know the right thing to say. They know what to say to get your attention. It does not mean that that's what they are going to do. Before Buhari came in, he made all the promises. We believe he will fight corruption, he will do all that. So it shouldn't be about what they say. Although we cannot run away from that, we are still going to judge them partly on what they say. But what do we perceive about them? what is the antecedent? What do we know about them? That's what we are going to judge them by. Don't be deceived by what they say. Article saying they believe in the evolution of power, you don't believe what these people say. They have a father that will write for them. Even when it comes to manifestos, they will write beautiful things for them. So we shouldn't be deceived by their words. What do we know about them? What is the antecedent? Okay. That's what we should go by. And I think. I
have a question for you, Kazim. Just before, if you say that we should go by antecedents and past performances, that's what you're saying, right?
Yeah.
That is the major pointer that the APC team is riding on. So are you saying that they're on the right path?
No, they have their own way of saying the antecedents, and we have our own view of the antecedents.
Okay.
It's not what they say. No, we see. They can tell you that these are Lagos. I don't know the way. Let's say Lagos, for instance. Some people will say Lagos have done to Lagos. I also say what they have done to Lagos, but what they have done to Lagos does not satisfy me. Maybe it satisfies some. Some of them are reserving. Maybe when it comes to presidential debates, we are going to hear because they keep mentioning the problem, not how they will. What is the plan? What is the narrative? What do you have on ground? Not tell us the obvious. So
thank you very much for your contribution. Hello, good
Mr. Peter.
Yeah, Peter Monse from Shogulu.
Good morning, sir.
I think I want to actually follow the steps of that last speaker. Let them come and tell us everything. We have questions for them. 2 minutes you give us is not enough for us to answer on those questions. But I just want to say the long and short is they will tell us what they want to tell us, and we will ask them questions. Because like Shetima, after how many years? And I will ask him what was his effort in getting those kids rescued. And what was the punishment he meted out to the principal of that school? That was those are the questions we are leaving for them. And on what happened in Lagos, I will ask and show me Lagos State pipeline water running all over Lagos and so many other things. So we leave that for them. I want to say that I think the campaign time will offer us opportunity to differentiate on this question. Given to you certain property, is it true or false? He will answer that and expatiate on that.
Mr. Peter, are you not? Okay, yes, I wanted to ask you that.
Okay.
Yeah. Do you have questions for them too?
Definitely.
Okay.
Because for Atiku, I personally will ask Atiku, how many times have you been in government? Did they talk about devolution of power then? Did they not know that Nigeria needed to restructure? Why didn't they move a motion to restructure Nigeria when he was there? All those are problems. Then for P2B, like everybody has said, I would just ask P2B to, we iterate on his achievement in Anambra State, and how did he go about that, and how does he intend to go about bringing Nigeria from consuming to manufacturing, taking us from this pit of disgrace to the height of the glory. He will tell us that. So I'm leaving those questions for them. In fact, make God tell us our life. God give us our life so that they will answer also. Not this one, they talk for 2 minutes, 1 minute. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Peter. Hello, good morning.
Thank you very much. This is Henry from Surulere speaking.
Henry from Surulere.
Henry speaking. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Yeah. In this morning's topic, I would like to commend the first speaker. He has spoken so well, and I will just be on that. You see, for Lagos State, I would like to tell you that the volume of taxes collected in Lagos State cannot be compared to any state in Nigeria, and that is enough to perform and do even more. There are so many abandoned projects in Lagos State today. We don't even count on that. Water is not running. All the people in Lagos, more than 70% is buying water from Marua and Malam. So we show that there have not been enough in that sector. Most of the roads they construct in Lagos State are haphazard. In fact, the Lagos land is waterlogged. So it's very expensive to maintain roads in Lagos because the roads must spoil every 2-3 years. So when they do most of these federal roads, they go back to tax billions of money from federal government, of which if you compare the work done and what they collect from federal government, it does not balance properly. It shows that somehow they're trading with the federal government in that part. That is number two. I would like to tell you that, yes, Lagos is doing well, but it is not doing well enough. That's the reputation of Lagos State. So as people, in fact, they take this thing on what they have done in their previous times of leadership.
All right.
That's the parental judgment.
Okay.
Yeah, so people be as got some benchmarks. Tinubu has got some benchmarks, yes. I think he also has done a bit, but look very well to see what they have done. And how they have done it. How confident are they?
Thank you,
and
Mr.
not even by what they say, because we don't trust what they say.
All right. Thank you very much for your contribution, Mr. Henry.
Thank you very much.
All right. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning, Sandra.
Good morning, Barrister.
And Wad and Adam is not around.
Yes.
No.
Good morning, Barrister.
Okay, God bless you all.
Amen.
You see, on this issue of the NBA conference, my take is that as a lawyer, I am not satisfied with the way NBA itself structured this discussion, because first of all, you don't allow people to just come back and beat about the bush and confuse 200 million people. The discussion should have been structured. Select key issues
specific
like education. I didn't hear how these people are going to solve the present dismal situation in the future. So as it is now, Nigeria has no investment in the future. To buy delegates instead of the naira, and that is why we are in the country. So they should have structured the itself has a problem because they did not address specific problem. That's my problem with that conference of the economy. You know, Buhari chemicals when we are cash trapped in Nigeria. These are
all right.
Thank you, Barrister.
My name is Abiola in transit. If they needs to come into and what to ask people, not just people that we invite them, and then how about we make it will take 3 or 4 or like 10 or 20 people to pray.
Yeah, with you.
Okay, he said you move from consumption. Okay, security. How do you want to do it? It's to make the media. Some of them say they have to think before the
call is not so good. But I think we've gotten it.
Promotion.
Priest.
If these people should, whenever we do, how? Buhari, this is the way they promise us when they come in, and of course in Nigeria. What did Tinubu actually did in Nigeria? That's everybody talking about. What is that he did in Lagos? I mean, the time of Tinubu and federal government did not release funds or the allocation to Lagos. Then it's clear. Lagos is controlling over 21 revenue. I mean, 21 state revenue in Nigeria combined together. So who will be at the frame of affairs in Lagos that will not do well? They have excess money. In fact, factually it's incomparable. Apart from Nigeria, it's a lie. You can't do it. This way I'm going to stop it.
Okay. Thank you very much. We appreciate your contribution. You're listening to Mainland 98.3 FM. You can watch the program live. Now we have some messages. I will quickly run through the messages that we have, and then we'll come back to taking the phone calls. Good morning, Mainland FM. APC wants to turn Nigeria to Lagos. PDP wants to unite Nigeria and also bring devolution of power. Labour Party wants to transform Nigeria from consuming country to a producing country, and that the coming election will not be tribal based. All the promises are good, but we Nigerians have decided what we want. I pray that we will get it right this time. And that's Chinedu from Orisumbari, sharing his own thoughts there. Also have good morning, Sandra, and everyone in the studio. My name is June from K2, and the question should be focused on the character of the people speaking about Nigeria's issues. Article speaking on solutions to normal starving business buyers dollar availability. And that's June from that's an interesting one actually. All right, and we also have good morning, guys. Nigeria education sector, security, power, healthcare, hunger everywhere. What is working under this government? Can this government please change their policies? I pray the Messiah come as soon as possible to help with our economy. And that's Nigeria is a failed state. No, he didn't say that. He said it's a highly insecure state. That's what he said. Moved on and said, we are no longer in control of our security architecture. Thank you very much, though, Eleshin from Lasso. We appreciate. Thank you for your thoughts. All right, I also have, do you know that ASU are still working and researching? Only the lecturing aspect is affected by, therefore, let them be paid in full. What manner of people are ruling this country, and who are those still supporting them? It's sad. And that's from Lagos. We also have good morning, Sandra and Fuad. It's always a case of I will do this, I will do that with our policy seekers. Give us a documented blueprint of what they want to do with what we can. Then what we can ask questions. The problem is with problems can be solved. And that's Adeni from Ijede in
morning, sir.
And my greetings to Adeni wherever he is.
All right.
My name and to us, Nigeria. And we will listen very well. The three, to have the seat to manage resources that come from their tribe, is it a exclusive list for him to give that power? After there, even within the political terrain, that power should be devolved everywhere until military unification of this country in 19. The economy of Nigeria, security of Nigeria is bigger than Anambra State. We should not look Nigeria as a micro eye. Let him come on board. We're ready. Even on radio station, television station, to ask the question, to detail, to break it with layman knowledge. How will be practiced. How practical it is in our country. The other man said we present what they did in Borno.
In Lagos, Borno. Yeah.
To God do the glory, but what we are saying is that Nigeria is larger than Lagos and Borno, and we have ethnic complexity. We have language complexity. We have complexity. How do they do it? So, what I want to mention here, some of them are charging. Okay. Some of them getting to tell us.
Yeah, we'll ask them, Morrison.
Thank you.
Brilliant.
For your
we'll ask them. We'll continue to ask them.
Morrison.
Yeah. They can't dodge way.
Is that right? Thank you. Hello, good morning.
A very good morning to you, Lady Sandra.
Good morning.
Morning to you, Fuad.
Morning, sir.
Thank you all. May God bless you and bless your management.
Amen.
You see, this morning.
Prince Wise. Prince Wise. Tell us where you're calling.
So that they know who is talking.
Thank you. My name is Prince Wise, calling you from Ikeja.
Okay, from Ikeja today.
It's alright. Carry on. Okay.
Yeah, thank you. You see, when you are listening to the campaign time, they are not asking them questions. When the campaign time come around, you have to ask them some questions, but you have to look at the attitude. Well, as you are doing Lagos government, we need the foundations of the new Lagos, not the one. When we talk of food Lagos, we can talk of the Balaji Jones, we can talk of Baba Jakande. But when we talk of new Lagos, we talk of things new during as we are the period. And you know, what is very clear? As it is, if we should follow their former performances to this country, it must be anybody that want to occupy that office must be ready and ready to die for Nigeria before it can change the mortar for this terrorist. It's actually the whole country. And as it is now, we have to political so all hand together to judge any government at the power to fight the terrorists.
All right.
That's what I did this morning. May God bless all of you this morning. Have a beautiful morning.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Prince Wise. We appreciate. Hello, good morning.
Good morning. Sandra, sorry about that.
We're waiting for you to help us.
Yes, yes.
Right.
My name is Don Peters. I'm calling you from Ilipeju this morning. Forward, good morning.
Good morning, Don Peters.
Yes, I just like to, this morning I wanted to, hold my peace and listen to other callers speak. But I had a statement that made me to pick up my phone to call. Forward.
Yeah, me too.
I grew up here in Lagos.
Okay.
To be specific, I grew up in Ereko, opposite Kosoko Palace.
Oh, beautiful. Lagos Island.
Yes. Yes, that is where I grew up from. And nobody should come on air to tell me about my Lagos.
That's okay.
Okay?
Nobody
should come on Lagos on air. Okay? I grew up not as a novice. I'm a streetwise. Okay? I grew up in Jankara. Name it in all the Lagos Island. Yes, in Saleku. There is no place you can't tell me about Lagos and I will not tell you where it is. So what am I trying to say here is this. Anybody who is promising me that is going to, turn Nigeria, replicate exact what happened in Lagos, in Nigeria in a whole, maybe he's talking about his own administration, I will tell you that person have nothing to offer. He have nothing to replicate. When somebody is telling me about who laid the foundation of a new Lagos, we know of what Buba Marwa did in Lagos. When you talk of who laid the foundation of a new Lagos, it's Buba Marwa. Okay, he's the one who brought in Operation Sweep. He's the one who brought in this Keke Marwa we name after him now. He's the one who even put this Lekki they are talking about. It is the foundation of Buba Marwa. Okay? Nobody should come here and begin to tell me that they are going to, he laid a foundation of a new Lagos, they are going to replicate what has happened in Lagos in the whole of Nigeria. And I will say that they have nothing to replicate. On Atiku, I will ask Atiku one question. He was once a vice president of this great country. Why is he not living in a country where he has been a vice president of? On a P2V, I will ask him a question. Why is it that him being a former governor and he wants to govern Nigeria, but 8 years in office in Anambra State, he was unable to conduct a local government election?
Yeah,
what is the wisdom behind it? And I will ask him a question. Why is it, how did he, Peter Obi, how did he want to all this is telling us that he wants to make Nigeria a producing economy and the rest of other things, but he is the one importing so much things in his supermarket. Which one have he been able to manufacture indigenously? Okay, so I have a question for all of them, but somebody telling me about the new Lagos and somebody laid a foundation of a new Lagos, please, I think that person will become a very economical with the truth.
All right.
Okay, we grow up here in Lagos and we know who did and who did not. Okay, when you talk of even new.
Okay, thank you, Don Peters.
Don Peters,
fair enough.
You are running on 4 minutes already.
But valid questions. Yeah,
no,
I have to say.
Yeah,
valid
I
questions.
think I might agree with that one. Yeah. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Morning.
Arakore and Belakale speaking from Ajawa Estate this morning.
You're three.
Yes, so it happens. Sometimes I just feel like listening to discussions. It is a funny case. When you ask me, what will I do? I can tell you I will build a house. If you don't ask me how will I build the house, I may not see any reason to tell you how will I build the house. I think in most times, most people that have the platform and the capacity to bring all these people to discuss, they always waste the opportunity by not asking them the appropriate questions. And on the NBA conference, so I want to ask a question. As a politician, if you are alleged of stealing 1 billion naira, what is the first thing you try to do? You try to get a good lawyer that will defend you. And that lawyer will try all his best, gather all his friends and other associates, let us defend this person. Yes, he stole 1 billion. He's ready to give us 200 million. How do we see him? And these are the kind of people that organize something and expect them to ask these people the right questions. I don't think it will happen. And secondly, NBA platform is not the only platform these people have spoken. They've all spoken in different platforms, and we've seen what they have been saying. It is obvious that they did not only lack the political ideology, they don't have the understanding of the economic ideology. And it is not maybe it's a mistake. That is what capitalism is all about. Capitalism is all about deceiving people to continue satisfying the greed of the few. That is why a person like Setima can come there and talk about Tinubu. You know, in Nigeria, when you have money and when you have money in Nigeria and you are disciplined, people will say that don't mind him. He's stingy.
Thank you.
But when you have money and you are spending anyhow, they will not say that you are financially something. They say that it's a philanthropist. So until we have that understanding, and you people should begin asking the appropriate question, how do we do these things different from what will you do? Stop asking them what do we do. How do we do it?
All right. Beautiful.
Thank you very much, Arakuni Bolakale. You're listening to Mainland 98.3 FM. It's Mainland Focus, and the focus for this morning is looking deeper into the statements made by the three major stakeholders as regards the presidential elections 2023. And Tinubu Shetima, the Tinubu Shetima ticket, Tinubu wasn't there, but Shetima was there, and he said, they're going to
this time.
No, not as a placeholder. He was represented. Thank you, Fuad. He was there, and he said that they're going to leverage on their performances as past governors. All right, he would come in as Shetima with his experience dealing with Boko Haram in Borno State to help with the banditry and insurgency situation in the country, and that Tinubu would come in with this. I want to quote him now: mastery of financial management capabilities to help with the economy of Nigeria. And then Atiku came in with devolution of power. Yes, he came in with devolution of power, and also said, the multiple exchange rates, must be abolished, and also the unity of Nigeria must be, considered top priority. And Peter Obi came in with, of course, the consumer to production economy, statement, and also the fact that Nigeria needs to make a bold transition from being a highly insecure state to being a highly secured state. That's all we have from these people. What's your takeaway from these different statements? That's what we're discussing this morning. Let me take some messages and then we move back to phone call. We have good morning crew. If ASU calls off this strike without getting all what they want, if they go on strike again, I will arrest and prosecute them. They must make sure that all their demands are met. Make sure you collect all your demands before you call off your strike. Remember Leah Sharibu. And that's Moses Ebong from Festac. We also have here, good morning Mainland FM. My name is Eligo from Bega. Just as Tinubu dominates Lagos and turned it to his pockets, and then Shetima technically defeated bandits. Okay, we are not satisfied with all these fairy tales. It's all right. Good morning, House. Shetima's claim of fighting Boko Haram in his state, did he win or did he come close to winning?
That's a question.
That's a valid question.
You fought, but did you win?
Did you win? Okay, so this person is asking, did he win or did he even come close to winning for those 8 years?
And was he really fighting?
That's from you now. Okay. As for Peter Obi, he is good enough to win, but not in a tribalized Nigeria. Gerald Chinedu Igwebe from Ikotun is asking that one. I also have here Ade from Isolo. Good morning. Has anyone cared to ask why Ashiwaju was not present at this event? What did Shetima do to tackle Boko Haram in the north, please? These are valid questions. I'm actually... it's an interesting one. Somebody also is saying that morning, the platform by the NBA was a curtain raiser. Tinubu not coming is a sign that he has nothing to offer. There are skeletons in their closets. Nigerians vote with sense, and that's Dayo sending his own message there. We also have good morning, guys. We are tired of promise of I will do this, I will do that of APC. Fake promise of APC $1 to 1 naira. I remember that one. Some years ago.
That's a promise that have been debunked.
They said they didn't say that. But I remember them saying it though.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Why this APC is trying to take part? Popo BA, thank you very much. We appreciate your call. Thank you very much. All right, 09136000410. We may not be able to take any calls at this time anymore, so I'll just rush through some messages that we have. I have here, good morning, Sandra and Fuad. I greet you essentially. Some people are even faulting the invitation of the politicians, especially presidential candidates, to the NBA conference. Okay, so let me help you understand why they invited the aspirants to the occasion, why it was important to have them.
Yeah.
So the conference theme was bold transitions, but this session in particular where these people spoke is the theme for that session is democratic transitions in 21st century Nigeria 2023 and beyond. Okay, so that's why they brought in aspirants, presidential aspirants that are going to be contesting for the seat from 2023.
Yeah.
All right, so that's why they were there. All right, so now moving on now with his message. Some are saying such conferences should not be a campaign ground, and that the NBA, being a body of those that know the law, broke the electoral law. All right, so no, I think I've already explained. James Ogbonna from Oshodi, I think I've already broken down the reason or the essence of having these people at
the conference.
That conference. All right, so we still have a whole load of messages. We also have calls are still coming in, but time is fast spent and we have to wrap things up at this point. But just as a lot of people have said, we need to start asking salient questions, because at the end of the day, look at the 5% that if it actually pulls through, is the people that will pay for
the
it.
telecom sector, right?
Yeah, that's for the telecom sector, the 5% increment in tax. If it pulls through, because we don't know, there's still a back and forth.
I'm still asking questions on subsidy too. How do we stop the subsidy payment? How do we revamp our refineries?
At the end of the day, it's the people that it falls on, because we're the ones that will pay for the consequences of these policies and actions. So we need to start asking serious questions. All right, so that's it for Mainland Focus. Join us by 9:45 for Global View, where we talk international stories. All right, stay with us, don't go anywhere. Mainland 98.3 FM is the dial.